Hello everybody, my name is Zach, aka the Weather Gaming Gamer, bringing you Week 5 standings, kill leaders, and transaction for WWC, the World Weather Cup, a Pokemon Showdown League run by myself. So we're gonna, as usual, jump right into our standings. We do have another situation this week, like last week, where a match was not played and has been postponed to Week 7, so the standings are still a little off. They will be readjusted once Week 7 occurs. Week 7 is the bye, as a reminder for those who may be new. Week 7 is when we will be off, the rest of the league, except for now the 4 coaches that need to play a makeup match. So jumping right into it, the bottom 3 did not change much. We still have the, whoops, hang on, we're going to drop you down. There we go. There we go. That's better. I can see the whole logo. So our bottom 3 still consist of the Chicago Claunchers, the Louisiana Luxrays, and the West Texas Leafeons. However, the order has changed. The Chicago Claunchers, by virtue of the fact that they played their match, and the Louisiana Luxrays did not play their match, are currently sitting in 12th position at 0-5 minus 17. I believe had the Louisiana Luxrays played their match and lost, even if it was a regardless, if they lose their match, they would be in the 12th position. So Claunchers, do not feel bad that you're down low. There's still time. Last week we had 3 winless teams, and as the board shows, we now have only 2. The West Texas Leafeons picking up their first win of the season, so I know the Claunchers or the Luxrays could still pick up their win that they need to get on the board and finally have a win and not be shut out for the season. Just looking at the schedule, the Claunchers do still have to play the Louisiana Luxrays, so one of you is getting a win sometime this season. Theres going to be at least one team that gets a win between the 2 of you. So the teams down here at the bottom, playoffs are not out of the question. You're just going to need a lot of help, and you're going to have to basically win out and get a lot of help going the rest of the way. A lot of teams need to lose, and you basically need to start picking up wins. So look at free agent mons if you need to make free agent changes. Look at your battling style. Look at your mon prep and all that, and sit down and reflect. I know we have week 6 to play, and then the bye week. During the bye, if you're not playing a match, maybe sit down, reflect, and figure out what's gone wrong with this season and try to bounce back. I mean, someone could sneak into the playoffs last minute, just have one of the upper teams collapse, and you can get in if you win out. The Louisiana Luxrays didn't play their match. They will be playing week 7, so there's not much to say for them. The West Texas Leafeons, though, they pulled in and got their first win. They are now 1-4 minus 16. So from being tied for last to 10th place is a big jump for them. Leafeons will be part of the match of the week, which will go up tomorrow. Their match versus the NBG Garchomps will go up tomorrow. That being said, I know that my week 6 match has already gone up on my YouTube channel. There was a bit of a scheduling issue, and I released videos in the wrong order. This video should have gone up before the team builder, and then the team builder would go up before the match. Instead, I released the team builder, then the match, and now this video will be going up. So they're a little out of order. We already know the results of my week 6 match, so just pretend it didn't happen when you're watching this video. Moving into the next 6, we have the Paranquay Poliwraths, and again, if I'm butchering that, please let me know, at 1-4 minus 13. The Poliwraths, their first week in, they played the Aus Dragonites, who are one of the top teams in the league, and unfortunately just kind of got beat down by the Dragonites. This is a team that they're still adjusting to, so I expect there to be a little bit of adjustment going on. However, I do want to point out to the Polyraths that they need to get their team practice with and get used to this team, because their schedule does not get easier. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 matches remaining against playoff teams that are currently sitting in the playoffs. So their schedule is not very forgiving, it's not very nice, and they're going to have a long road to get to playoffs, but if anyone can sneakily get in there, it could be this team. You never know. So we'll see what they can do against the remainder of their schedule. They do have the bye week coming up in 2 weeks that they'll be able to catch their breath and see what they've got for team. Just hopefully by then it's not too late for them to get things turned around and get into the playoffs. Moving in, 8th position, Chicago Bearticks and myself. I'm still kicking myself about not having Energy Ball on my Chandelure. If you've watched my match for week 5, you'll have seen that my Chandelure faced Megalodios, Magearna, and a Greninja. And if it had had its Energy Ball and with the E-Belt plus Energy Ball, it would have killed the Greninja when the Greninja switched in to try and surf on it. Then it would have outsped Chandelure, or not Chandelure, would have outsped Magearna and flamethrowered it to kill it. And then it would have two-shot the Megalodios with Shadow Balls, because the Megalodios could not touch Chandelure with Stored Powered Calm Mindset. Unfortunate, poor team prep on my part. We'll learn from it and not make that same mistake going forward. And again, great game by the Ottawa Centrets. There's some freeze hacks in that game, unfortunately, too, that played a role. And yeah, all I can say is 2-2 -5. Playoffs are not out of question, but with the competition in the top 6 positions, the top 5 positions are going to be locked down pretty hard. It's the 6th seed right now that's looking like it's going to be the one that's still up for grabs. Just because the top 3 have really separated themselves, and actually the top 5 have all pretty much separated. Well, I guess the top 2 are set. The next 4 are up for grabs, granted. I've lost to 2 of the top 4 teams already, so they would have tiebreaker over me by virtue if we tie on record and tie on differential. They would get ahead because they beat me head to head. So I've got to pick up some wins in the top 5. I still have a few of those players left to go. I still have my match with the 7th seed, the the NB Garchomps. I'm not going to try and pronounce that, Damien. I'm really not happy about that name because all your names make it really difficult for me to pronounce. I still have my match against the Garchomps. That's going to be a very critical match for the Bearticks as well as the Garchomps, vying for that 6th spot potentially. The Garchomps have been on a bit of a losing streak, and will need to pick up some wins. They'll definitely, to better their chance getting into playoffs, they will have to beat me as well as beat the 6th. Not on that right tab. As well as beating the 6th seeded Dutch Pyroars at 3-1 +2. The Dutch Pyroars, the NB Garchomps, and myself with the Chicago Bearticks all still have our matches to play against each other. The Garchomps have to play myself, and they have to play the Pyroars, and that actually occurs in back-to-back weeks, where the Garchomps and the Pyroars will play me and each other. So those 2 matches are going to be very critical. Those 2 matches are going to have huge playoff implications at that point, assuming that neither team goes on a severe losing streak that drops them down in one of the 10th, 11th, or 12th seeded teams gets hot and starts coming up trying to take the 6th seed. So that 6th seed is going to be a very big battle. Actually, my mistake. The Garchomps play the Bearticks and then play the Pyroars in back-to-back weeks. The Pyroars will play week 7 against me in the Bearticks, which will be a huge match as well. That match was the one last week that got canceled. Moving forward, 5th seed, Copenhagen Cacturns. They dropped a slot because they were not able to play their match this week. Just personal conflict between Cheshi the Cat, the coach of the Luxrays, and Matthias BBH and the Cacturns. Between school, work life, they just could not find a time to play their match. Decided that instead of forfeiting the match one way or the other, they wanted to battle, and they're going to move it to week 7, which is perfectly fine. That's what week 7 is there for. So nothing much really to talk about the Cacturns this week. They just sat and enjoyed their week off. The Ottawa Centrets moving into 4th place, 3-2 plus 9, picking up a 3-0 win against the Chicago Bearticks. Not much really to say. Great team prep, great team bring. Little surprised that the Arcanine went down as soon as it did, and just glad that they're very glad that I decided to bring double setup prevent on Chandelure instead of bringing Energy Ball. So that'll be our 6th, 5th, and 4th positions. Moving into our top 3, which again has not changed other than record-wise, have not changed. The 3rd seeded Baltimore Murkrows picked up a loss playing against the Tampa Bay Weasels and the unstoppable Mega Salamence. The Murkrows are 3-2 plus 11, handily in the driver's seat as far as differential goes for a playoff spot. They've got quite a few teams that, had they played their matches, would be jostling with them at potentially 3-2 or 4-1 in the Copenhagen Cacturns and the Dutch Pyroars, depending on how their 2 matches go. The Murkrows could find themselves free-falling a little bit. Nothing to be worried about yet. They've put on great matches so far. They just faced the top-ranked seed this week, and actually checking on the Murkrows schedule, they actually they play 1, 2, 3. They still play 3 teams in the top 6. So they're going to have to make sure they don't lose too many of those, or they're going to find themselves on the outside looking in on playoffs. Because they've still got matches against the Centrets in the 4th position. They've got a match against the Cacturns in the 5th position, and they still have a match against the 2nd-ranked Os Dragonites. 5-0 plus 18. Dragonites played the Poliwraths. The Poliwraths were new to the league, fresh match, drew kind of the really short stick. Would have only been worse had they had to play the Weasels to be their first match while they're trying to get used to their team. So the Dragonites picked up a 5-0 victory to get themselves to 5-0 plus 18, handily sitting in that 2nd place position, chasing the Tampa Bay Weasels for that 1st position. They are 4 points differential behind, and they still have to square off. Week 10 will be when the Tampa Bay Weasels and the Os Dragonites will have to duke it out to see who's going to be the true number 1 seed for the league, if they both remain undefeated until that point. Finally, the Tampa Bay Weasels, once again, are your 1st place team for the week, top of the leaderboard. Tampa Bay Weasels, coached by Fizzle the Hizzle, just continuing to put people down with Mega Salamence, picking up a 3-0 win over the Baltimore Murkrows. At this point, unless someone can beat Mega Immense and then clean up the rest of the team, I don't see the Weasels losing until they get lined up against the Dragonites, potentially. As far as the Weasels' schedule goes, they have myself, the Bearticks, to play, which, again, the match has gone up already, but pretend that didn't happen. They have the Garchomps, they have the Poliwraths, the Dragonites, the Luxrays, and the Cacturns. So at this point, their schedule is mainly bottom tier teams right now, bottom half of the league teams that will have to really fight hard to beat the Weasels, with the exception of the Dragonites in second and the Cacturns in fifth. Those right now, personal honest opinion, are the only two matches that I see that the Weasels could potentially still lose remaining on their schedule. They should walk into playoffs very easily. And I'm sorry to say that to the rest of the coaches. It's just, unfortunately, I allowed Mega Salamence, and Mega Salamence is just being used to destroy this league. It is what it is. And I, again, promise next season, no Mega Salamence. 100% there will not be a Mega Salamence. It's going away. So, transitioning into that, updated kill leaderboard for week 5. Some major changes occurred. Top 2 remain the same. We have Mega Salamence now at plus 17. 17 kills. Still has yet to die this season and is sitting comfortably in the first seat. The second place, Auto Eccentrics and their Magearna, still sitting at 10 kills, 1 death, plus 9, still sitting in second. One of our biggest jumpers was the Lopunny, moving up from, I believe it was 6th last week, into the 3rd spot, 10 kills, 2 deaths, plus 8 differential, knocking Victini down a slot. Granted, Victini did not play its match this week. So it sits at 4th, 9 kills, 2 deaths, plus 7, sitting in 4th place. The Centrets, common theme this week, the Centrets have a lot of mons on the board. That Megalodios, 8 kills, 1 death, plus 7, sitting in 5th. Cofagrigus, the kill leader. The second kill leader, because he was 2nd place at one point because Salamence has been leading the entire way. Cofagrigus, 7 kills, 1 death, 6th position, starting to slide down the rankings as some of the unbanned mons and other mons begin to challenge it and jump its way up. I don't know how much longer Cofagrigus can hang on to the leaderboard, considering how much is sitting behind him. Big jumpers coming into the kill leaderboard this week. Salamance's running mate in Tapu Lele just jumped out of nowhere to get on the board. 6 kills, 0 deaths, plus 6 in the 7th position. That thing with its ability in Psychic Terrain, which prevents things like Ice Shard, Aqua Jet, priority moves, allows Mega Salamence to not have to worry about anything short of a Scarfer in Ice type. So Ice Shard will not be a problem for that. That, I think, alone is what's made this such a nasty, nasty team to play, is the fact that priority cannot be used against Salamence once Psychic Terrain goes up. But it came out of nowhere with 6 kills, 0 deaths, plus 6 Tapu Lele. Another big jumper coming up out of the bottom rung of the kill leaders. Greninja, 5 kills, 0 deaths, plus 5 for the Centrets. The Centrets now have 3 mons on this kill leaderboard in Magearna, Megalodios, and Greninja. Greninja was able to clean up against the Bearticks, myself and the Bearticks, to pick up 3 kills to get itself out of the shadow of Magearna and out of the shadow of Megalodios, and establish itself as a threat. To say, hey, besides these two, take a look at me and deal with me now too. Finally, Mega Metacham is back on the board. Mega Metacham was dropped by the NB Garchomps early in the season, and picked up by the Dutch Pyroars. And the Pyroars continue to use it. It has 5 kills, 2 deaths, plus 3 differential, sitting in the 9th spot. And then we come to a log jam for our 10th spot. We have a 3-way tie for the 10th position with the Os Dragonites Primarina, 5 kills, 2 deaths, or 3 deaths, plus 2 differential. The Paranquay Polyraths Magnezone and Sylveon also sitting with 5 kills, 3 deaths, and plus 2 differential. So Magnezone and Sylveon are still hanging on. Primarina has jumped into the top 10 for the Dragonites. A couple of things that have fallen off the leaderboard of note. Nidoking has come off the board. Granted, Nidoking is currently a free agent, as he was dropped by the Poliwraths and has yet to be picked up. So Nidoking is sitting out there for anybody that wants it. Darmanitan coming off the board for the Dutch Pyroars. Granted, Darmanitan is a match behind. Had it played its week 4 match, it probably would still be on the kill board, I think. It would be pushing to be on the kill board. Nidoqueen has fallen off the kill board. Same thing with the Dutch Pyroars. Nidoqueen missed a match, so it is currently 1 game down compared to the rest of these Mons, except for Victini, and could be on this leaderboard. Could be back on this leaderboard very shortly. Trying to think who else has fallen off. Sorry for the hiccup there. Who else has fallen off this leaderboard? Just scrolling through the team kill leader or kill thing right now. Oh, they weren't on there. They weren't on there. They weren't on there. Mega Pinsir has fallen in recent weeks off the kill board. Mamoswine has come off the board and sagged back a bit over the last couple of weeks. Mega Latios is off the board currently. It was up there for a week. Alolan Muck came off the board between last week and this week. Suicune has come off the board in the last few weeks. Like I said, Nidoking went down. Infernape, that's the other big one that fell off the board this week. Infernape did not... I don't believe Infernape made a appearance in the Week 5 match for the Dragonites. If it did not pick up any kills, and so it consequently fell off the board itself. Granted, their Primarina came back up onto the board, and they've got Lopunny sitting in 3rd. So, there are no transactions to go over, actually. No free agent moves were made, no trades were made this week. Teams seem to be settled in with what they've got. They're sitting on what they have for right now, waiting to see how things are going to shake out across the league. I'm sure as we get closer to playoffs and teams become more desperate to make moves to get themselves in a position to get to playoffs, there'll be some more transactions. You might see some trades go across between teams. Playoff teams I don't expect will be doing many trades as they're satisfied, but some of the lower end teams will be trying to get themselves in a position to win. And with that, that's going to wrap up the Week 5 standings, kill leaders, and 0 transactions for the WWC. My name is Zach. I also go by the Weather Gamer, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.